Зобов'язуюсь усіма своїми справами боронити суверенітет і незалежність України.
Уважать и охранять права и свободы человека и гражданина.
That was Putin's fourth inauguration and Volodymyr Zelensky's first. In the last election, they both won with a record vote share of 70%, although Zelensky's was in a runoff vote. Zelensky, a successful actor and complete political newcomer at the time, overtook more established competition to rise to power, promising change for Ukrainians. Putin was once again re-elected. Over the years, he has managed to subjugate all branches of power, curtailing freedom and delegitimizing the very idea of elections.
Наш ориентир – это Россия для людей, страна возможностей для самореализации каждого человека.
Громадяни втомились від досвідчених, системних, надутих політиків, які за 28 років створили країну можливостей. Можливостей відкатів, потоків, дерибанів.
Two presidents of two neighboring countries, but even before the all-out war, the way they acted was so different that they might as well have come from different planets. Before the war, coronavirus was a huge issue for the modern world to deal with. When the pandemic began, the Russian president switched to a regime of severe self-isolation, reduced travel, all visitors at a great, sometimes vast distance. Some were even required to undertake a lengthy quarantine before meeting with Putin. For a long time, there was uncertainty regarding Putin's vaccination status. In the end, the Kremlin said that he was vaccinated. Why was there no photo shoot to increase trust in the vaccine, as had been arranged by many other world leaders? What difference does it make, Putin reasoned? You could just be injecting saline solution anyway.
Мы разве что с вами должны обезьянничать, что ли, обязательно делать все, как кто-то где-то делает.
Слушайте, он же Путин, кто его заразит?
The Ukrainian president was vaccinated in public. In November 2020, Volodymyr Zelensky was hospitalized with coronavirus. It is almost impossible to imagine any reporting on Putin's health outside of the periodical Kremlin press release regarding the president having a cold.
А кондишн там шуровал как следует.
Their only face-to-face talks took place on December 9, 2019 in Paris. On that occasion, the leaders of the Normandy format gathered in France after a 3-year break. No progress was made after that meeting. They agreed only on the transit of Russian gas through Ukraine and the exchange of prisoners and prisoners of war between Kiev and the separatists. Speaking of the exchange, shortly before the meeting in Paris on September 19, 2019, Moscow and Kiev exchanged prisoners. In Ukraine, they were welcomed as heroes by relatives, journalists, and President Zelensky personally. Ukrainian filmmaker Oleg Sentsov, among others, was returned home at the time. And here's how the Russians came out. President Putin spoke at the celebration of the Moscow City Day holiday.
Дорогие москвичи, с праздником, успехов и процветания Москве и всей нашей Родине.
Shortly before the war, Zelensky repeatedly called for personal negotiations with Putin. On the 19th of February, the president of Ukraine spoke about this at a security conference in Munich. There, he strongly demanded security guarantees from the West.
Ми цінуємо будь-яку допомогу, але всі ми маємо розуміти, це не благодійні внески, про які Україна має просити чи нагадувати. Не благодійні жести, за які Україна має низько вклонятись. Це ваш внесок у безпеку Європи та у безпеку світу.
On the same day, Vladimir Putin, in the company of Alexander Lukashenko, watched military exercises featuring the launch of ballistic and cruise missiles.
Учения проводятся в 2 этапа.
In answer to Zelensky's repeated proposals of a meeting, the Kremlin responded that, although they were aware of Kiev's approaches, they did not see the point.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
В соцсетях много всего заблокировано, но заблокировать это зло, это Желание уничтожить нацию невозможно.
All-out war. It is perhaps not surprising that the speeches of the presidents of the two countries, one is the aggressor and the other one is the defender itself, differ greatly, as does their leadership approach. The Ukrainian leader repeatedly traveled to the front and visited the liberated territories. Putin has not been seen in the combat zone.
Ушилин Денис Владимирович.
December 20th, the 300th day of the war. In the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin presents awards to soldiers that are the so-called leaders of the annexed territories. That day, the leader of Ukraine was in Bakhmut, currently the most dangerous sector of the front, with fierce battles being fought outside the city. There, Zelensky presents the soldiers with awards. Throughout the war, Western leaders have regularly visited Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev.
He said more than thank you.
Дякую.
According to the Kremlin website, Putin has made 4 trips abroad since the 24th of February. Russia's president has visited Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Iran.
В странах Европы, например, Путина, я думаю...
European countries viewed Putin as difficult, problematic, and authoritarian, but nevertheless as a partner in political and business dealings that could be negotiated with. The events of the 24th of February have entirely, or almost entirely, destroyed this perception of Putin that existed for many European countries.
To finish, we can look at the New Year's addresses from the two presidents.
Пусть любовь будет в каждом сердце и вдохновляет всех нас на достижение поставленных целей и покорение самых больших высот ради своих любимых и ради нашей единственной, великой Родины.
Головне, щоб всі ви, всі ми були живі й здорові і збирались ось так за одним столом, усією родиною, щоб сусіди в гості до нас з холодцем і з пляшкою, а не зі зброєю і без стуку.